First of all, I just want to thank both you gentlemen for agreeing to participate in the Hutchinson Leaders Candidate Forum today. To give viewers a little bit of background information about both of you, John Lofdahl, you currently hold seat 2 on the Hutchinson City Council and were first elected back in 2014 when you ran unopposed.
Correct.
Dave Sebesta, you're challenging Councilmember Lofdahl for his seat, and this is your first run for City Council.
In the city of Hutchinson,
yes. In the city of Hutchinson, yes. So we have 8 questions for both of you today. You'll both be given 2 minutes for an introduction, and you'll both have 1 minute to answer each question. At the end of the questions, you'll both be given another 2 minutes to make your final case for why Hutchinson residents should vote for you in the upcoming election. We flipped a coin before the start of this forum today to determine who would give the first introduction. Dave, you won the coin toss, deferring to Mr. Lofdahl, and Mr. Lofdahl, you chose to give the first introduction, so you may begin.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I wanted to thank the leader for giving us this opportunity. This is great. I love the format. And I wanted to let everybody know I'm here to talk about what I'm not here to talk about what I'm not going to do. I'm here to talk about building the future of our city together. So during my first 4 years, I'm really happy, really proud of what we've accomplished on City Council. Our town has more jobs, we've got more housing, we've got more amenities, and we've got more opportunity than we did 4 years ago in 2014. I want to talk about what we're going to do to what we're going to keep on doing. And I'm here to talk about prosperity in our town. I'm here to talk about growing our community. I'm here to talk about growing our workforce, our employment opportunities, and other opportunities, our employment possibilities and other opportunities. You know, politics are local, and I'm excited to talk about the issues in town here. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Mr. Sebesta?
Well, again, I would like to thank you for having this opportunity to do this. I believe that having people understand where seat number 2 is coming from and where I would like to go to. There are not a lot of changes that probably at this moment that I would be making or suggesting, because the I in the City Council doesn't work that well. It takes 3 to make a vote pass, and if you don't have those 3 votes, you can do whatever you want to. Prosperity in the city is going to be delegated mainly on our ability to attract housing, employees, businesses. Businesses are always the main front runner of that type of thing. So typically, you go with what is presented to you as a council member and not what I can dig up, you know, outside of that. So I'm going to be willing to listen to each constituent, and I've listened to many people so far whom are not constituents as of yet. The way the city is the way they would like to see it remain. So, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. So, we will begin with our first question, and Dave, you'll answer this question first.
Okay.
First question. Hutchinson City Council members are elected to 4-year terms. So what do you think are the 3 most important issues that Hutchinson will be facing in the next 4 years?
I think number 1 is Highway 15 coming through Main Street. The thing that kind of disappointed about Highway 15 is the fact that the limited amount of participation from not only the businesses but also from the general public in that particular instance. I think housing, apartments are being built, seems like they're full, being rented long before they are even built and finished. And so I see personal housing, residential housing, as being also a good indicator that we are moving forward rather well, with 27, I think, permits drawn so far this year, and I think that equates to about 27 as of last year. So we still have 2 months left in this year to be a little bit more indicative of more housing.
Mm-hmm. Would you like a third option? Or?
No, I blew it.
Okay.
You already did.
Time's up.
Oh, excuse me. Well, yeah, well, we're going to have you keep you guys on time here, yes.
That's all right.
Just a
That's
reminder,
cool.
It's a minute.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, Mr. Lofto, then Hutchinson City Council members are elected to 4-year terms. What do you think are the 3 most important issues facing Hutchinson the next 4 years?
I agree with Dave. Investing, you know, the Highway 15 project is extremely important. But you know, we need to invest in infrastructure, and that's part of the planning for the Main Street 2020 MnDOT project. And this is a MnDOT project. Workforce, we've got low unemployment, and our local industries and businesses are struggling to fill positions. I know there's a lot of changeover. I talked to a welder from Warrior, and he told me that people don't stay there long. We need to work with our area partners to reduce any barriers there might be for employment. Housing, child care is a huge issue. Technical training, we're working on the technical training. And then the other issue, the big issue is, you know, city finances. You know, we need to keep taxes low, and we need to be committed to fiscal responsibility, and we need to make sure that we save for a rainy day. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So for question number 2, John, you'll be answering first. What do you think the city's role should be in economic development, specifically as it relates to vacant buildings and facilities such as the former Econo Foods building downtown?
Well, you know, the Econo Foods building, it's very unlikely that that would ever be another grocery store. I mean, the demographics just don't support that. But it's a large piece of real estate in our downtown commercial district, and we need to constantly be looking to revitalize that area. You know, the Econo Foods building is one of the sites that has been considered as a location for the new police facility.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's it.
All right, thank you. Dave?
Well, it seems like we got hung up on the Econo Foods a little bit, and a minute doesn't give you a lot of time, so I'm not going to belabor that point too much. I think we are not, the city is not made to own properties, so typically it always depends on someone else coming in and showing an interest in those properties. As you well know, the Cub Foods, when that didn't work out real well, it took a long time for someone to come into that building. I understand there was situations that probably it wouldn't because of lease terms and that type of thing. So typically I'm going to go along with John's idea that that might be a good place, but it won't be used as a I don't think the building will be used. I think if anything it'd probably be razed and built new on top of that, on that site.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. All right. Question 3, and Dave, this is for you to begin with. The city is looking at a new police department facility and upgrades to the fire department. Do you think that is necessary? Why or why not?
I definitely believe that both departments need to be upgraded periodically, just for the fact that equipment and buildings do get age on them, and then they tend to deteriorate, and then sometimes it takes a lot of upkeep to keep those buildings going. I would personally like to see the police department down at the Econo Foods site. I'm not really aware of what is available to expand the fire department, but those are 2 entities of our city that I consider most important, is safety and protection. So that would be my take on that.
Okay, thank you. John?
Well, the council has voted unanimously to look at setting aside money for the public safety facility, and that money came from that Hutchinson Health early payout. It's a little bit complex, not that too complex, but Hutchinson Health would have made lease payments through 2037, another 19 years, so the $6.2 million that we received from that, the council unanimously has dedicated about $3 million toward initially working on a new police facility and some upgrades for the fire department. The important thing about that is the old police facility consists of 3 buildings. So when you do a new facility, it's more efficient, saves energy long term, and that in turn will save taxpayers money.
Okay, thank you again. Question 4, John, for you to begin with. The city has invested in several amenities such as the aquatic center, trails, and public arts. Do you feel these investments are wise? Why or why not?
I think they're extremely wise. That's what draws businesses. We know that Uponor had 39 items on their list, and we had 37 of them. That's what brings business here. I think the aquatic center's fabulous. I think families love it. I wish when my twin boys were growing up, we had the aquatic center here. And in my next 4 years, I'll continue to support upgrades to the rec center, Birch Arena, the hockey rink, and trails. I fully support more trails, walkable communities.
Thank you. Dave?
Well, it's an interesting question, to say the least. The aquatic center has, I believe, has been very successful. Trails, I think we have a lot of trails around the city, and access to them is really good. Public arts, that has been a great draw for not only the outside area, but also for people coming into town. It gives them something that they can take a look at. It becomes an amenity of the city. I feel that to keep those amenities current are a great idea. I think expanding some of those, such as the trails, I'm not a trail person myself, but on the other hand, I see people that are on them, and I also see people that talk to people that say we have enough. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Question number 5 for Dave. Road projects such as the Main Street reconstruction in 2020 and the addition of roundabouts in several intersections around town have been widely discussed issues. How would you rate the city's handling of transportation issues, and what, if anything, would you do different?
Question, I totally am amazed that we can have the roundabouts. I love them in all actuality. A lot of people don't like them, but I do agree with them. And I do believe that it keeps traffic flowing and keeps intersections cleaner. And so, yes, I definitely handle that. As far as handling the transportation issues, I think they've been handled well. I've lived here in town for 28 years. I see nothing that could be truly improved upon. There may be some intersections that could truly be improved upon, but other than that, I see things being worked out really, really well. I think we have a great city crew, the engineers and this street department do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, John?
So I guess to the South Grade Road, cash-wise intersection, that's, I believe, the second busiest intersection and location in the city. Probably one of the more dangerous ones. And so one of the suggestions on that has been the small roundabout. And we're not sure if that's the final recommendation, but it's important that we ultimately plan for that intersection. You know, as far as, Highway 15 downtown, we're in the process of planning for that. The reality is that's a MnDOT project, and we have very little to do with that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, question 6 for John here. The city generates revenue through the operation of businesses such as Liquor Hutch, Creekside Soils, and Hutchinson Utilities. Do you think it is appropriate for the city to be involved in these enterprises? Why or why not?
I think it's very appropriate, and we've got more enterprise funds than that, but those are the 3 big ones. The realization is those enterprise funds bring money into the city general fund, and that in turn reduces local property taxes. That's why they're so important, and I fully support them.
Okay, thank you. Dave?
Be foolish not to support those 3 entities of City of Hutchinson, because they do bring in not only the revenue, but also creates jobs through those entities. So I think I spoke to utilities manager, and I think they're at 50-some employees right now. Not sure what the streets and department is. Creekside Soils, I'm not sure how many they have, but I think it's probably 10 full and part-time. Great assets to the city. If a lot of places could have a Hutch Liquor that does as well as what Hutch Liquor does, and the utilities, we'd all be in great shape, better shape around the country, around the stateside. So I think they're one of the top-rated liquor stores that produce money for the city of Hutch. So yes, taxes would be probably higher if we didn't have those. They generate a lot of dollars that go into general fund and whatnot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yes. All right. Question 7 for Dave. In the past year, the City Council has discussed 2 high-profile issues: a resolution stating the city is welcoming to all people regardless of their backgrounds, and a resolution ending prayers before council meetings. How do you view these resolutions and why?
Said you'd have to have more than a minute to answer this question. The 2 high-profile issues is resolution stating the city of welcoming all people regardless of background. I do believe that we have a welcoming city. We have background in this city that is amazing when you look at it. There is no reason that what we have as a welcoming issue right now is, let's not make an issue, let's not have a resolution looking for a solution to solve. It just isn't there. Employment, yes, we're understaffed employment-wise, but you know what? When those companies do more advertising, if that's what they need to do, more skilled people get trained, that's going to be the key to upgrading that. It may take a while to get that done. Resolution to the prayers, that I don't really understand, even though prayers have been in this only in the city council since 1966, I believe. But I think it's an absolute need to have prayer at the city council.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. John.
To the welcoming resolution, I guess I was wrong about how I brought that out, and I don't plan on spending any more time on that. The council voted against it. But I want to work continuously to ensure that people want to live here. It's a good place to live, and I want to make sure that people want to raise their families here, and I want to make sure that everyone feels like they're welcome. You know, to the invocation, you know, that came forward based on a potential lawsuit against the city of Hutchinson. We didn't have a policy, and so we established a policy, and that's important. And that potential lawsuit could have cost the city a lot of money. So that has been resolved.
All right, thank you, John.
Okay.
And our final question, John.
Okay.
How would you rate the city's financial management over the past 4 years, and what, if anything, would you do differently during the next 4 years?
Well, the financial management has been great. You know, one of the things we saw this year is that our tax rate looks like it's going to drop in 2019, and that's a testament to the people that work for the city that do the financial management. You know, I want to continue to look for ways to save money. Energy efficiency, that's one of the huge things. There's a lot of things that we can do with a minor investment that will save us money long term. The city's doing very well financially. We score very high on our financial reports.
Thank you. Dave.
Finances look good in the city. I've had the opportunity to sit on several council meetings and read a couple workshops that the numbers were there, and the numbers prove that the city is in good shape. So we are doing well there. To see what's going on in the next 4 years, I think that's a year-to-year process. John has got 4 years under his belt kind of administering to those things, so there are probably a lot of areas that I do not relate to what he's saying. But typically, we need to look at it, we need to be on top of it, and the management team for the finances has done a terrific job. They're very well educated and very well, do their jobs very well.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
And that is the end of our questions now. So as I stated at the beginning, we'll give you each 2 minutes for closing statements. So, Dave, why don't you begin?
Is this where I get to jump up and down?
Sure.
Okay.
Show us your T-shirt.
You wouldn't want to see it. I would love and appreciate, and I do love and appreciate all the support I've gotten through the city, through the citizens. I didn't realize that probably as many people in Hutchinson knew who I was, or who I am, or what I do. But being around and being involved in the Lions Club, Hassan Valley Lodge 109, Avalon Homes, being a coordinator for ushers at St. Anastasia, do or die, whatever we do, we got to be involved. And my involvement has been well enough or good enough to know that people know who I am, and I didn't realize that. So I appreciate that very much. I'd love to be your council person. It'd be a challenge that I'm sure comes with some obstacles, but that is what we are designed to do for city government, is hurdle the obstacles or move through the obstacles and make sure that either they either become reality or they don't become reality. I see the city as a growth place. 1977 was the first time I became aware of Hutchinson, and I lived in the city of Clarkfield, and I told my manager over there from about 1980 on, I said, give me Hutchinson, and that's when Great Plains was out at the east end of town instead of Simonson's. But he didn't do it, so I waited for 4 or 5 years, and then I got here anyway, but it was for the same company but a different owner. All I saw was growth. He said, why do you want to go to Hutchinson? All I see is things going on. We're in a farming community in Clarkfield. We had nothing going on, typically in the down times. Here there was always something going on. Might not have been a lot, but it was always something going on. So with that, I think we have a course of great leadership in the past. The people that saw the future of Hutchinson saw what a great city it could be, and I think it's turned out to be that way. And I'd like to represent you, each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. John.
Thank you. You know, the history here is pretty rich, founded by the Hutchinson brothers, and their neighbors, and they were very forward-thinking. They were very optimistic. They were very creative, and they set up the town with a plan for the future. So my primary job is I'm a builder, I'm a carpenter. In the first 4 years here, I think we've built a great foundation, and we can expand upon that foundation. I'm really happy of what we've accomplished on council in the 4 years. I mean, we've got more jobs, we've got more houses, more apartment buildings, we have the amenities that draw businesses here. We've got a lot more opportunities than we did 4 years ago, In the next 4 years, you know, Main Street 2020, it's going to be a challenge for businesses. You know, I want to make sure that we've got a community where everybody that needs a job has a job, families feel supported. I want to make sure that there's entry-level jobs and high-wage jobs. And of course, we've got the financial picture is to spend responsibly and make sure we're ready for a rainy day. We've got to have money to get through the lean parts of town. So I want to make sure, I hope everybody votes on November 6th. I hope you share my vision of what's going to happen in this city. And I'd like your vote, John Loftel, for City Council for seat number 2. So thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you again for participating in our candidate forum today. It's been a very informative discussion, so thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Okay.
You do the same.
Yep.